Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Velmore. Today I am going to be making for you two recipes from the Necronomnomnom. One is steak kebabs, and the other is a cheesy spinach and bok choy dish. This is Sunken Moo and the side dish not to be named. Let's get started. So for these two recipes, I'm going to cut up some steak, kale, bok choy, and garlic. The recipes also call for spinach and tomato, but I don't need to do any special prep on those. I am now going to make a marinade for the steak. It's going to start with parsley, a whole garlic clove, oregano, extra virgin olive oil, lemon juice, and water. And now I am going to put about a quarter of that into a bag. And then I'm going to put in my steak. And I'm going to toss the steak around and coat it with the marinade. And I am going to let that marinate in the fridge for 30 minutes. Now in a bowl I'm going to add some tomato. I'm going to put in some olive oil. And I'm just going to give those a quick toss. And I'm going to pepper and salt. I'm going to put on my baking tray. And I'm going to let those cook up in the oven for a little bit, just until they're ready to burst. Now into my oiled pan, I am going to add some pearl onions. And I'm going to cook those for a few minutes until they start to get translucent. Now I'm going to add in my bok choy and spinach. Pinch of salt, black pepper, and pinch of nutmeg. And I'm going to cook that up until the spinach is wilted. So into some heated oil, I'm going to put in some flour, and I'm going to whisk that together. Now I'm going to add in milk. Now I'm going to add in the cheese. And this cheese is shredded Colby Jack. And I'm just going to continue to whisk until it's smooth. Now I'm going to put my vegetables in. Stir them around. Now to finish off my sunken moo, I'm going to put my minced garlic into the pan and then add in the kale. And I'm going to cook that up until the kale starts to wilt. Now I am going to cook my steak up in a pan. I'm just going to cook that up for a few minutes until it's cooked through. Now to build this, I'm going to put one of the tomatoes on my skewer, piece of kale, and a piece of steak. So I thought these two combined together for a really delicious meal. The skewers were really good, the steak was perfectly cooked, the tomato and kale stood out nicely, and then you dipped it into this bright, acidic, fresh sauce. And this is also a good example of tasting your food once it's done to season it. While I don't think the sauce itself needed any salt, the steak did. So I would recommend that if you make this, that when you put the steak into the pan, you salt it a bit. I felt it just needed that little bit extra pop. The creamed spinach was delicious. It was creamy, it was cheesy, it was full of flavor. Looking at it, I was a little concerned. I thought there was going to be far too much cheese to vegetable ratio, but that didn't turn out to be the case. It went together pretty well. The cheese really coats it well, and it just kind of looks like it disappears in the cheese. The pearl onions make for a true burst of slightly sweet flavor. It was, like I said, very, very good. I hope you enjoyed. You can follow me on Instagram or Twitter at chef_Velmore. The links will be in the description below. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and coming back next week for another recipe.